I really didn't know. I think when the second plane hit is when I was like, first you're like, is it real? And then you're like, is it an accident? Like, you're not thinking at the time that the United States is under attack. And then when the second plane hit, we were actually watching it. So the first plane hit, one of the kids is like, hey, Miss Hodges, come look at this, and someone had already came around and said, there's a really bad accident. Like, let's not get the kids upset. We don't know what's going on. And then one of the kids was like, look at this. And then we watched the second plane hit. And then I think the administration was like, you can go ahead and, turn it on the TV.
So it was like after the first plane hit, I felt like it was just kind of chaos. Like nobody really knew what was going on. People thought it was an accident, whatever. But then when the second one hit, they started, you could just tell there was something more to it. You know what I mean? And then it started being like, hold on a second. And then you start getting, they were starting to kind of report like, it looked like it was intentional, like then things started coming out a little bit, but it was just, oh my gosh, it was just heartbreaking anyway.
Really just in shock. We were getting ready to leave and the principal came on the intercom and said, teachers, you need to turn on your TVs. And we turned on our TVs and the first plane had just hit the first tower. And so we were actually watching when the second plane hit the second tower.
But when I got in the car, the radio was on and I heard the announcer start talking about something bad happened. At that time, since I just heard bits and pieces of it, I didn't know exactly what he was talking about. But I remember he said the phrase, "This is as bad as Pearl Harbor." And when he said that, I was kind of annoyed and frustrated at him because I was thinking, he's a reporter just trying to sensationalize something that happened, and how dare he relate this to Pearl Harbor. But after I found out what happened, it's like, oh, he was actually right. It's a very similar type of situation where America was under attack, surprise attack, didn't have any knowledge of it. And a lot of great people died. So yeah, I think that was, now looking back, it was a very appropriate way to describe it.
I remember driving home and the quietness because there was very little traffic out, that all the planes had stopped. And I live in a neighborhood that it's not near the airport, but the planes fly over the highlands. And it was just very silent and very few people on the road. I think people were really in a state of disbelief.
And going, oh my gosh, the United States is under attack.
A lot of teachers would play it on the news as it was happening. But that's high school. I don't know about elementary school and middle schools, if they were.
Actual attack. So we had it on the TV in our rooms. And then when the second one hit, you got a pretty strong feeling that something coordinated was going on.
A plane had hit the tower and I thought it was just like an accident. At that point, you're just kind of, I don't know, you just really didn't know what was going on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I remember, but it was on television.